Hi everyone, welcome to my project Level Up finale. This project was created by Sophia Alexandra. I'm going to leave her channel and intro video in the description box. But what this project is, it's basically a mix of many different ones, such as pen-less eyeshadows, pen in every palette, no pen left behind, and so on and so forth. So it consists of levels, as the name kind of suggests, and you start with the first level, during which you have to randomly select one palette and hit pen on one shade in that palette, whichever shade you want, and use each shade in that palette once. And once you're done with that, you can move on or level up to level 2. And for level 2, you randomly select a different palette and you need to hit pan on 2 shades and use each shade in the palette twice. And once you're done with that, you can move on to level 3 and so on and so forth. I'm currently on level 2. It's my second time doing level 2 because I've gone through this project already. Like, I did one round of this project, levels 1 through 5, and I decided to go back to level 1. But yeah, enough of the rambling, let's just get into the update. But as always, before I get into the fun stuff, I just wanted to remind you yet again that the war in Ukraine hasn't ended yet, so if you would like to help, I'm going to leave, I think it's 5 organizations that accept donations. If you do donate, thank you so much, it means the world. But yeah, let's just get into the eyeshadows. So as I just mentioned, I'm currently on level 2, and it's my second time doing level 2. And my level 2 palette is this Beauty, which is Unearthly Cosmetics, formerly known as Alien Cosmetics, Hauntingly Glamorous palette, which they did in collaboration with Sydney Nicole Adams. I've been working on this palette for 2 months now. Last update, I showed you this palette, if you remember, without any pans, but I said I used all of the shades 2 times, which was a lie, and I'll get into that. But without any further ado, here's what the palette is looking like today. I hope you can see I did end up hitting 2 pans. So yeah, I did use all the shades twice this time. And I have 2 pans, which means I'm done with the level 2. But because this is the finale, I'm not going to be rolling in a new palette, which I'm kind of sad about, but also I need a break. So let me just swatch out the shades that I used more than twice or hit pan on, and I'll talk about them as usual. So yeah. So I'm not really going to talk about all the shades in the palette at length, because to be honest, I didn't really use pretty much any of them except for the ones that I needed to fulfill my goal on since the last update. So I'm just gonna breathe through most of them and mostly talk about the ones that I did use. So let's just do it. The first shade in the palette is called Elvira, right? Yes. It's a pink iridescent shimmer. I just used it twice, so I'm not gonna use. Moving on, we have the shade Lily, which is the first shade in the palette that I hit pan on. Well, not chronologically, I actually hit pan on it second, but it's the first shade in the palette. I mean, you get it. I don't know why I'm explaining this. But as you can see, we have Pan and Lily. It's a iridescent teal or green shimmer. I used it a total of 18 times, which is a good amount of use. And as you can see, it's not really that deep. In my previous update, I was like saying that, oh, I think these shades are pretty deep. Well, I was wrong. And it's nice to be wrong sometimes. So yes. Here is a swatch of the shade. I really like it. It's not the sparkliest shade out there, but it's very shiny and it looks really nice in the inner corner, which is how I was using it for most of the time. Yeah, so let's just move on to the next shade. The next shade we have here is called Morticia, and it's a bright red matte. I only used it twice, so no new use on it. Same goes for Vampira, right? Yes, I used it 3 times, and I haven't used it since the last update, but I thought I'd swatch it out anyway. Here's what it looks like. It's a lovely kind of like dark red matte, very pigmented. It's a great shadow. Moving on to the next row, also, yeah, I think I didn't use any of these shades in the second row this month. So I'm just going to say how many uses I have on each of them. So Movie Macabre, I used it twice. It's kind of like a peacock blue matte. Next to it we have Pale and Mysterious, which is kind of like a mint green, but kind of grungy mint green. I used it 4 times, right? Yes, 4 times, but no new uses since the last update. Moving on, we have, what are you called? Glamour Ghoul. I used it twice, but not this month. And it's kind of like a acid green or like a lime green with shimmer in it. It's a sequin shadow. Moving on, we have this teal matte, which is called Blood Curdling, and I also used it twice, so, and no uses this month. Moving to the last row, the first shade here we have is called Unhappy Darling. It's kind of like a plummy matte. I used it twice. Same goes for this shade, which is called Drop Dead Gorgeous, which I would say is like an eggplant or aubergine shade. Also 2 times, as I just mentioned. And the next shade is the one that I used it twice, and it's called Stains Weather, and it's like a dark navy blue matte. And previous update I said that I used all the shades in the palette, but then when I sat down to film this update yesterday, I looked through my spreadsheet again and I noticed that I only marked Saints Weather as being used once, and I don't know why I didn't notice it, so I kind of lied to you, but it wasn't intentional. So yes, I don't know, what did I want to say? Yes, so last update I only had 1 use on this shade. I completely forgot that I didn't use it. I don't know, I had in my head that I did, like that look that I explained to you, which is what I'm wearing today. So it's this shade all over the lid and on the lower lash line, blended out with a light gray and what's it called? Kimchi Chic highlighter in Pearl Gone Wild, like all over the lower lash line and the lid, which I think looks really pretty. So yeah, I thought I did that look with this shade, but I actually didn't. So yes, 2 uses on this shade and I'm wearing it today. So that's that. And finally, the last shade in the palette, which is also the second shade I have pan on. It is called, what are you called? Unpleasant Dreams. And it's a light periwinkle matte. It's very lovely. I've used it a total of 16 times. Well, but I hit pan in 15 uses. I just used it one extra time after I hit pen on. So yeah, it has a pretty decent pen in it actually. What happened to it is while I was trying to hit pen on it, the inside of it broke. I don't know, sometimes that happens to shadows. That happened to me with both of my Juvia's Place shades, which is interesting. So it kind of broke, and then I was using the little broken up pieces, so that's why I used it one more time. But I really like this shade. It's very pretty. And here is the swatch of it, and this is the swatch of that minty shade, Pale and Mysterious, and this is Unpleasant Dreams. Both very pretty shades. I used them together quite a few times. So yeah, this is the palette once again in all of its glory with all the pens and everything. I'm very happy that I got to roll this palette in because I do really like it, but I haven't used it that much at the time that I've rolled it into this project, so it's been really nice to have it in. But I think that is all I'm going to say about it. So yeah, we're not going to be rolling in a new palette for level 3 because this is my finale. I'm glad that I was able to finish level 2 before the finale, but I guess that is it. Thank you so much for following my project. It means a lot. It was so much, I was so happy, and it was always so fun to read your comments and responding to them. So thank you so much for all of your attention, for spending time watching my videos. But I think that is all I'm going to say. I wish you happy holidays. It's probably a little early to say that, but I mean, I don't think I'll have an opportunity to say it later. So yeah, again, thank you so much for watching. It means the world. But other than that, I hope you're doing great and take care. Bye.